All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So today's joint practice between the New York Giants and the New York Jets just wrapped up, and I think really I could speak for everybody, Jets and Giants fans here. We want these practices to just be injury proof, right? And this goes, of course, with the game as well. But it's not just the Jets that have been hit so hard with the injury bug, right? The Jets are clearly dealing with numerous injuries to Zach Wilson. Mekhi Becton's down for the year. It's been brutal. But on the other side, the Giants have also been hit really, really hard as well. Kayvon Thibodeau went down. Beavers went down. Colin Johnson tore his ACL. He's out for the year. He was having a promising camp at the wide receiver position. So I think really we just got to get through this period injury free, but at the same time, have it be competitive, have it be, a learning experience, practices that everybody can learn from at the same time. Now, speaking of injuries, Jermaine Johnson did go down, I guess kind of awkwardly, hurt his leg in punt coverage, okay, but managed to come back later, which is a great sign. Same with DJ Reed, okay, went down with an apparent right knee injury, was checked out on the sidelines, managed to come back in, sigh of relief, 100%. Okay, Sheldon Rankins, on the other hand, spent the day on the stationary bike, so it is what it is. I mean, he is a veteran. I'm not overly concerned about it. We'll see where Rankins stands maybe a little bit later today, but overall, I'm really happy that we didn't really see any serious injuries from both sides. It was overall a pretty light day in practice. As far as the Jets offense goes, Joe Flacco looked pretty good. Had a couple touchdown passes, one to Garrett Wilson, one to Corey Davis, was putting the ball in play. I guess had a really nice play early on in practice to Elijah Moore. Was he perfect on the day? No, he did have an interception. It looked like the offense, or it sounded like the offense was sputtering early on, but overall Flacco kept his composure throughout the day. Another Jet that had a really good day was wide receiver Garrett Wilson, and it's just awesome to hear that. Garrett was my favorite wide receiver prospect in the class, and I'm so happy that the Jets managed to draft him 10th overall. I feel like he's so versatile, he fits the offense so well, and as Rich Cimini pointed out, he has an uncanny ability to separate, okay, and that's huge in this style of system, and today was on display. Again, he had that touchdown pass from Joe Flacco, he was making plays all over the place. I'm totally amped up for Garrett Wilson moving forward, totally. Now, I know there has been some concern over Garrett Wilson's drop so far in training camp, but for me personally, I mean, we haven't even reached week 1 of the NFL season. I'm not putting a lot of stock into it. Garrett Wilson's hands weren't really a liability, at the college level, and I mean, we've seen this a lot, right, through the years of the NFL, right, with young wide receivers coming up. I mean, think about Jamar Chase last season, or last preseason, right? There was a drop problem. He wasn't coming down with every pass thrown to him, and then lo and behold, the season arrives, and he ends the season as one of the best wide receivers in football. For me, I am not worried about the drops. Now, when we flip it and look at the Giants offense going up against the Jets defense, first and foremost, John Franklin Myers had a couple of sacks, okay, at one point beat Evan Neal, okay, one of the top picks, one of my favorite offensive linemen in the draft. JFM had some success today. That's really encouraging. We look at JFM, the stock that, or really the responsibility that this coaching staff has entrusted in JFM. I mean, we look at the contract as well. Franklin Myers is not going to be just some random player on the roster that's only there for depth purposes. I'm expecting JFM to have a big season, second year in the defense. I cannot wait to see what JFM does this season, and I'm glad to see that he's already making some noise in Giants joint practices. As far as Daniel Jones through the air goes, it sounded like he was on it, right? He was pretty sharp. He went 8 for 9 to start off the practice. His only incompletion came on a free play, apparently. Although he did throw an interception towards the back end of practice to Bryce Hall, but Matt Lombardo reported something really cool. He didn't think Daniel Jones even looked in Sauce Gardner's direction the entire practice, okay? And one thing that we've seen so far throughout the first couple of preseason games, quarterbacks aren't targeting Sauce. They're not going in his direction. And to me personally, that alone is more impressive than pass breakups. That's more impressive than tackles. It's more impressive than interceptions. If you can lock down, if you can essentially X out a section of the field or a given playmaker, that is, I mean, think about that. for an offense. You're essentially playing with 10 players. If you have a secondary member that can just shut somebody down, whether it's a wide receiver, whether it's a slot guy, whether it's a tight end, whatever the case may be, if you have a player talented enough on defense, and of course it's joint practice here, it's not in the middle of the regular season or anything like that. I don't want to jump the gun or get ahead of myself here, but we didn't see Sauce get burned against ATL. We didn't see him get burned against Philly. The only somewhat negative play I could remember was just a small little video clip on Twitter where Kyle Pitts beat him off the line, and Marcus Mariota kind of put it only where Pitts could get it, just giving Sauce no chance to get the ball. A little overthrown, and the ball went out of bounds. That's really the only negative thing that I could kind of remember about Sauce. So the bottom line is Gardner is impressing a lot of people, and I feel like at some point Saleh has to come out and say he is going to be a starter, because that's still up in the air. Supposedly him and Bryce Hall are continuing the positional battle, but I feel like it's kind of the worst kept secret in football right now, or at least in Florham Park, that Sauce is going to be starting off the season on the bench, especially after how Bryce Hall looked against the Atlanta Falcons this past Monday. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Again, pretty light practice, pretty uneventful. Looked like both sides had some good, both sides had some, a little bit of bad, and I'm just happy nobody got seriously hurt. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it, and as always, go Jets.